Hello everyone. Today I am here again with the second part of chapter Working of Institution. In the previous video, we already discussed about the Parliament and the two houses of Parliament. So we'll start with this video. So first of all, we talk about the executive. At different level of any government, functionaries take day-to-day decisions but do not exercise supreme power on behalf of the people. All these functionaries are collectively known as executives. These executives is in charge of the execution of the policies of the government. Thus, when we talk about the government, we usually means the executive. Now, the political and the permanent executive. In a democratic country, two categories make up the executive. One that is elected by the people for a specific period is called the political executive. That means the political leaders who take big decisions fall in this category. The people who are appointed on a long-term basis are called the permanent executive or civil service. People working in civil services are called civil servants. They remain in office even when the ruling party changes. These officers work under political executive and assist them in carrying out the day-to-day administration. So why is the minister more powerful than the civil servant? In a democracy, the will of the people is supreme. The minister is an elected representative of the people, and on behalf of the people, they are ruling the country and thus empowered to exercise the will of the people on their behalf. So, minister is finally answerable to the people for all the consequences of his or her decision. That is why the minister takes all the final decisions. The minister is not and is not expected to be an expert in the matter of his or her ministry. The minister take the advice of the expert on all technical matters and then take the decisions. So, the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. There is no direct election to the post of the Prime Minister. The President appointed the Prime Minister. The President appoints the leader of the majority party or the coalition of the parties that command a majority in the Lok Sabha as Prime Minister. In case no single party or alliance get a majority, the President appoints the person most likely to secure majority support. The Prime Minister does not have a fixed tenure. He continues in power so long as he remains the leader of the majority party or coalition. After the appointment of the Prime Minister, the President appoints other ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister, which are usually from the majority party or the coalition that has the majority in the Lok Sabha. The Prime Minister is free to choose ministers as long as they are members of Parliament. A person who is not a member of Parliament can also become a minister, but such a person has to get elected to one of the House of Parliament within 6 months of appointment as minister. Now the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers is the official name for the body that included all the ministers. It usually has 60 to 80 ministers of different rank like the cabinet ministers. They are usually top level leaders of the ruling party or parties who are in charge of the major ministries. The cabinet is the inner ring of the Council of Ministers and comprises about 25 ministers. Now the ministers of state with independent charges. They are usually in charge of smaller ministries. They participate in the cabinet meeting only when specially invited. Ministers of states are the junior ministers who are assigned to assist cabinet ministers and the minister of state with independent charges. Now, the power of Prime Minister. As the head of the government, the Prime Minister had wide ranging powers, which are mentioned here. The Prime Minister chairs cabinet meetings. He is the head of the government. He coordinates the work of different departments. His decisions are finally in case disagreement arises between departments. He exercises general supervision of different ministries. All ministers work under his leadership. He has the power to dismiss ministers. When the Prime Minister quit, the entire ministry quit. Now, the President. The President is the head of the state. The President supervises the overall functioning of all the political institutions in India. So that they operate in the harmony to achieve the objective of the state. So the president elected? The president is not elected directly by the people. A candidate standing for the president's post has to get a majority of votes from member of parliament and the member of the legislative assembly to win the election. Now, the power of president. All government activities taking place in the name of the president. All laws and major policies decisions of the government are issued in the name of president. All major appointments are made in the name of president, which include the appointment of the Chief Justice of India, the judges of Supreme Court and the High Court of the states, the governors of the state, the election commissioners, ambassadors to other countries, etc. All international treaties and agreements are made in the name of President. The President is the Supreme Commander of the Defence Force of India. The President exercises all these powers only on the advice of the Council of Ministers. The President can only appoint the Prime Minister by his or her own will. Now, the Judiciary. All the courts at different level in the country put together are called the judiciary. The Indian judiciary consists of a Supreme Court for the entire nation, High Court in the states, and the District Court, the court at the local level. India has an integrated judiciary, which means that the Supreme Court controls the judicial administration in the country. Its decisions are binding on all other courts of the country. It can take up any dispute between citizens of the country, between citizens and the government, and between two or more states' government, between government and the union and state level. Independence of the judiciary means that it is not under the control of the legislature or the executive. The judges do not act on the direction of the government or according to the wish of the party in power. The judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court are appointed by the President or on the advice of Prime Minister and in consultation with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Once a person is appointed as judge of the Supreme Court or the High Court, it is nearly impossible to remove him or her from their position. A judge can be removed only by an impeachment motion passed separately by 2/3 members of the two houses of the Parliament. So, the power of judiciary. The judiciary in India is one of the most powerful in the world. The Supreme Court and the High Court have the power to interpret the constitution of the country. They can determine the constitutional validity of any legislation or action of the executive in the country when it is challenged before them. It is known as the judicial review. The Supreme Court of India has also ruled that the core or basic principles of the Constitution cannot be changed by the Parliament. The power and the independence of the Indian judiciary allow it to act as the guardian of the fundamental rights. Anyone can approach the court if public interest is hurt by the action of the government. This is called PIL, that means public interest litigation. Anyone can go to the court if he or she finds that his fundamental rights are violated, so they can file a PIL. Hope you like this presentation. Thank you.